Hi, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. Today, in the Buckets of Love, we're going to talk about the physical relationship because I think this is really important. This is the thing that when you're in a romantic relationship that drives it forward and actually perpetuates your relationship into a place where you can be as a couple. It's very important, this relationship, because when you have a physical relationship with someone and a sexual relationship, you actually form cords between one another, like energetic cords. And these are the cords that drive the relationship forward, and also they're the cords that help to keep you together. This is a very important place because this is so different to any other relationship. If you've decided to just be together with this person, then you'll find that this relationship is unique because you don't have that relationship with anybody else, and that makes a very big difference for you when you're trying to establish something and also maintain it. I think to maintain it. However, because even though it starts off really good like this, and we can't get enough of each other, as time goes, life kind of gets in the way, and you might end up living together now, and you have to take out the rubbish and do the washing, clean the bathroom, and have people over. So your life actually gets quite different. And because it gets quite different, it also changes the amount of time you have. Perhaps at the very beginning, there was a lot of time for your physical relationship, and now you've got to kind of find places for it. I highly suggest that you keep this part of the relationship going, the physical and the sexual, because there's a definite correlation between when you start shifting apart, when you're not being together so much in this way, that there's a kind of a breakdown in the relationship. Some therapists actually say that the physical relationship is a sign that things are starting to go wrong, because when it starts to wane for no reason, then you can have trouble. Of course, there will be times when people are sick. Also, there's distance, someone who travels for work. It could also be now you have a new baby, or your demands are greater because you've got parents that you have to look after. Therefore, you need to work out whether it's actually because of a physical reason now in your home life, or whether it's actually because you're just not really that interested in helping each other to be in that part. I think it's very, very important you look at that. Once you get in a physical relationship, you'll also find that there are differences, and I think it's important to talk about what you both want and what you both need. People don't tend to do this. They just sort of go along with what they used to do, and the other person does what they used to do, and we all hope it's all right. However, if you want it to last and to keep the interest, I think it's very important that you speak openly. And people actually have trouble with this. People really find it hard to talk about sex and what they like. So see if you can sort of just talk to your partner and they talk to you and what they like and what they don't like and what they would like more of, and really make it open dialogue. I think you'll actually make a better life for yourself in this area, and also it keeps a little bit of spice and happiness in that area. There will be differences. Just try and accommodate each other, but make sure that you don't accommodate each other in areas that you're not comfortable with. If you've come out of any sexual abuse, you're going to have some issues with some things, and you need to be totally honest about it, because your body will actually shut down if you don't like certain things, and you won't be there, quite literally, and your partner will feel it, that you weren't there. And so it's best that you either don't do those things, change them, find a substitute, and or you need to go and do some work on your abuse, because it's because of the trauma, and the body remembers it. The other thing I want to talk about today was that in real life you need to also try and keep physically well and look after yourself. Your partner met you and you looked a certain way and you were a certain weight and you were a certain fitness or whatever, and they accepted and loved you for that. I think it's up to you to try and maintain that if you can. Of course, we're all going to get a little bit fatter as we get older and a little bit more out of condition, and that's okay. But don't let yourself go in other ways too. If you're going out, make an effort and dress well. If you're around the house, make sure that you keep yourself looking kind of fairly tidy. And if you're wanting to wear makeup or do your hair, or make sure you smell nice with your aftershave. I think these things are really important. And when you go out, if you're going out somewhere special, to make an effort, because that person is making an effort to go out with you. So if you're going out to a nice restaurant, to make an effort, it shows that you're making effort in the relationship as well. And I think in the bedroom it's important to if you're wanting to wear some certain clothes and things that make you feel kind of cute, you do that. And also that you take care of yourself, because when you take care of yourself, you tend to take care of other people. When we don't nurture ourselves, sometimes, our life can get worse because of it. It's important that you nurture yourself. I wanted to also talk about self-esteem around your body. A lot of people do have body issues, men and women. I kind of feel that you need to really look at that, because body issues can make a very big difference to people coming into your sphere. You might find it quite difficult to have people close to you because you have body issues. And I want you to be really honest with yourself. If you hate your body, you will actually find it very hard to have people close to you and feel really comfortable. Whereas if you start to learn to love your body more and love the bits that aren't sort of what you wanted them to be, and stop being so critical about yourself, you'll actually find it'll be better for you in the sexual area of this relationship that you're in. Your partner probably loves your body the way it is. It's probably you who doesn't, and I think that's where you've got to go to work on it. It's very, very important that you nurture yourself in this way. And if you have body issues, and it'll often come through your background, you've either might have had some abuse, and you might have even had some verbal abuse about your body, that people said mean things to you. And so I think it's really important that you actually have a look at that, because that will actually impact on your physical and your sexual relationship, which isn't your partner's actual fault. We are human. We don't look like models, most of us. We haven't been airbrushed, I think they call it, and we haven't been photoshopped. So we're just going to be like normal people with the little wrinkles and the crinkles and the little saggy bits and the bits that aren't perfect. We're not perfect, and we're not supposed to be, but we're perfect for our partner, and that's all that matters. And to be quite honest, the things that we think are not perfect in ourselves, and other people don't notice. I remember I went out to coffee with a girlfriend of mine who had a beautiful figure, a really beautiful figure, and she started complaining about her ankles. Like, she doesn't wear certain things because she's got fat ankles. And I never noticed her fat ankles, but for her it was really quite a big issue. Important for you to make time for this kind of relationship. That might mean the date time, particularly if you're not a person who's got a lot of time. So you make a time that we're going to spend some time together to be intimate on a certain day or a certain afternoon or morning, and you make that your time. I knew an old couple who used to be Sunday morning, and that was their date time, and I thought that was kind of cute. And they told everyone, don't ring us until after 12, and I thought that was kind of cute too. So make a date time if you can. That's important. If you have children who are running all over the place, you might want to invest in a door lock for your bedroom, as much for them as for you, particularly as they're getting older. They don't want to be surprised by mum and dad either. It goes both ways, that one. And lastly, I just wanted to talk about the physical and the sexual relationship in relation to keeping them both burning, because you actually have two things going. For example, holding hands and giving a person a hug and a kiss on the cheek, or touching their shoulder, or being physically close to them. Those physical things are one thing and are socially acceptable when we're out and about. And the sexual thing is another thing, which is more like a private area. And I think the less you touch each other, the worse it gets. So keep the touching, the holding the hands, putting a hand on their shoulder when they're driving, walking, arm in arm, whatever, giving each other a hug and a kiss in the kitchen. Keep those things alive, because that tends to keep things alive in your sexual relationship too. You want to be connected. You want to be connected physically as much as possible, and then that leads to a good sexual relationship. Don't compare yourself to other people. It's not going to make you feel good. Everyone's really different, and every couple relationship is going to be different, and different people have different needs. If you're with somebody who needs a lot of sex, you will have to work on that together, particularly if you're not. If you're somebody with somebody and you have about the same sexual needs, that will be easier. And then sometimes you can be with people and both of you really aren't interested in the physical relationship very much, and that actually works. You're going to have trouble when you have differences, not when you're similar. And when we first start out, we're going crazy there and so in love, and blah, 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 you know the story. But as time goes by, the real feelings around that for people sort of come into the forefront, and then you really have to address them. And it's important, if you don't think you have enough physical with them, then you need to say, I want it. Or if you feel like it's maybe too much for you and you're being a little bit smothered, then I think you need to say that. Try and love your body, because when you love your body, you fill up your own bucket, and that will actually fill up your sexual bucket. Try and talk to each other about what you need in sex, because I think that's really, really important. Try and make time for it. Make sure you have time for you, and make sure you try and make yourself look nice and take care of yourself, because when you first went out, you probably had 5 different outfits on the bed trying to work out what to wear, and you fiddled around for ages. So go back to making sure that you look really nice, because that's almost a compliment to your partner. Explore different things with each other and talk about your differences and be really, really open, and just try to be with each other a lot and say nice things to each other too. We need to hear that. At the beginning, people usually are saying wonderful things to us, and as time goes by, they think, well, you know that, so I don't have to say it. However, I think it's really important to talk openly and say your hair looks nice, and I still love your butt, and whatever you want to say. I just think if they're walking past, you say you look pretty cute. I think it's important to do that. We're all going to age, and there's not much we can do about that, but in the aging process there's still beauty, and the love that we have burns brightly, and that's the attraction, because we look through the eyes of love. And so we understand we're both perhaps getting older, but we can still love each other and still be physical and sexual with one another. This is a very important area to keep the flame burning, and the reason is that it also stops you from straying, because if you're pretty happy at home, it's going to make it pretty easy to come home every night. But if you start not being so happy at home, perhaps you start having a wandering eye, and then that's going to risk your relationship. And there could be many other wonderful parts of your relationship that by doing this, you could actually spoil it and actually wreck it for life. It's just not worth it. So put some effort into this area, in yourself and in your relationship. And I wish you really good luck with this.